First, let's talk about ammo. There are two main types of ammo, FMJ and TR, or tracer bullets. In theory, tracers are supposed to be more visible than FMJ when you shoot, but all the other stats are the same. However, on high graphics settings in PCVR with tracers turned on, and at night to make the difference more noticeable, FMJ and tracer bullets look nearly identical as far as I can tell. So I'd recommend only buying FMJ bullets for now, as they're slightly cheaper. Also, for 12x70 firearms, there are three options for ammo: buckshot, slug, and tracer slug. Each ammo type deals the same amount of damage, but the slug and tracer slug have increased critical damage chance and penetration chance. Quick explanation: critical damage chance is the probability you'll get a critical hit, and on a critical hit, this ammo deals 3 times the normal damage of 90. Also, if you hit the head, you get a guaranteed critical hit. Penetration chance is the probability the shot will shoot through the enemy, which is basically useless unless multiple enemies happen to be in the same line of fire. After doing the math, I found that buckshots cost 17.8 supply credits per 100 damage, and slugs cost 20.2 supply credits per 100 damage. Tracer slugs cost even more, but we already went over why you shouldn't buy tracers. So regular buckshots are by far the best value. Now, should you be buying ammo in bulk to save money? No, the cost per bullet is nearly identical, but usually due to rounding to clean numbers, the small ammo boxes will be slightly better value. However, if you're going on a difficult mission and think you'll need lots of ammo, the big ammo box is the better choice, since they're slightly lighter per bullet, because multiple empty small ammo boxes weigh more than one large ammo box. Security level 1. You start the game with the PM, a basic pistol with the lowest average stats in the game. It has the lowest DPS, which is damage per second, has the highest cost per damage at 32.1 supply credits per 100 damage. It has the lowest reliability in the game, and has a low magazine size of 8 or up to 12 with the extended mag. While the PM only costs 300 supply credits to buy, the price doesn't really matter anyways because you get it for free, and it's simply an extremely bad firearm. Go straight to the bottom of the tier list. For 1200 supply credits, you can upgrade to the modified PM, which on average is about a 15% stat increase across the board. It has slightly better damage, accuracy, recoil, reliability, and bullet speed. However, even with these improved stats, it comes in at an extremely low 71.9 DPS and an extremely high 29.2 supply credits per 100 damage. The modified PM is just a band-aid on a broken leg and goes straight to the bottom of the tier list as well. For 1800 supply credits, you can grab the modified Fort 17, another 9x18 pistol that feels very similar to the PMs. While it's a solid step up from the modified PM, it even has an improved magazine capacity of 15, it still has a very high cost per damage and extremely low DPS of only 78.4. In my opinion, 1800 supply credits is far too much to justify the upgrades from the basic PM you already have, and the modified Fort 17 will likely end up being a backup weapon to your compact ICH-27 anyway, which you get when reaching security level 1 F tier. For 3500 supply credits, you can pick up the only SMG available at security level 1, the modified PP91 Keter. It has the highest DPS and ammo capacity out of any security level 1 weapon at a solid 30 round capacity and 348.5 DPS in full auto mode. The full auto mode continuously shoots more bullets if you hold down the trigger, while the single fire mode shoots 1 bullet every time you press the trigger, which will save you many supply credits if you have decent aim. Besides the full auto mode and doubled bullet capacity, there's nothing that significantly improves the modified PP91 Keter over the modified Fort 17 pistol, while the value is poor compared to the modified ICH-27, which comes in at the same price, which I'll discuss right away. Being able to store a good amount of ammo and put up high DPS is nice. I'm giving this one a D tier. Getting into the shotguns available at security level 1, let's start with the compact ICH-27, which is worth 1500 supply credits, but again, you get it for free on reaching security level 1. Starting with the pros, it has over 4 times higher DPS than the starting PM and has an incredibly low cost per 100 damage at 17.8 supply credits. However, most of the time you'll one-hit enemies, so some of that damage is often wasted because each individual bullet often deals more damage than the enemy's full health. Now, the downsides: the compact ICH-27 has the lowest accuracy in the game by far at only 50. Also, it can only hold 2 bullets, which is extremely inconvenient. I recommend picking up a cartridge belt and attaching it to the side for faster reloading. Overall, I'm giving the compact ICH-27 an A tier. While it definitely doesn't stack up stat-wise with many other firearms in security level 2 or 3, it offers amazing value, and the ability to one-shot many enemies such as these spawns is very useful. The last one on the list for security level 1 is the modified ICH-27, a bigger and better version of the compact ICH-27. One clarification: do not confuse this with the stashed ICH-27, which you can find on one of the security level 1 missions. weapons. Stashed weapons may appear similar, but if you look at their stats, they generally have reduced bullet velocity, and often other stats are lowered as well. The modified ICH-27 comes in at 3,500 supply credits, the same price as the modified PP91 Keter, but much better in my opinion. While it's much heavier, has much higher recoil, has lower accuracy, and can only hold 2 bullets at once, the ability to one-shot enemies similar to the compact ICH-27 is extremely helpful in taking out enemies quickly. I'm putting this one at A tier. While it's not quite as good value as the 1,500 credit counterpart, the modified ICH-27 can rival many weapons at security level 2, offering good long-term value. Now, after covering all the weapons available at security level 1, I would say the best build is the modified ICH-27 paired with the modified PP91 Keter. They both offer good DPS, and the PP91 Keter makes up for the ICH-27's major flaw of the low ammo capacity. However, this build is extremely expensive and low value. Personally, I would recommend running the compact ICH-27 and starting PM. While it's obviously a much weaker build, both these weapons you get for free. The ability to quickly take out enemies with one shot is crucial since you're very vulnerable at security level 1 without armor, and you have the PM to back you up when you need to reload your ICH-27 but don't have time. Security level 2. Let's start with the modified Glock 18C 9x19 pistol. At 4,000 supply credits, it's more expensive than any gun you've had a chance to buy previously. It has a magazine capacity of 17 or 33 and has an incredible 648 DPS due to having the highest rounds per minute in the game at 1,200. However, you're not going to want to take advantage of the full auto mode because it comes with a very high cost per 100 damage at 30.9 supply credits. I'm giving this one a D tier. 4,000 supply credits less, at only 3,000 credits, you can pick up the modified Beretta M9 pistol. While compared to the modified Glock 18C, it has only one magazine capacity at 17, a slightly lower accuracy, much higher recoil, and less than a quarter of the DPS. I would choose this pistol instead. Security level 2 missions are surprisingly very similar in difficulty to security level 1 missions, so you don't need the best of the best yet. What you need is to save resources for the much better weapons at security level 3, where the missions start to get much more difficult, especially going into the new area that is only available for PC VR at the moment. While saving 1,000 supply credits may not seem like much, it's paired with a fairly low 23.7 cost per 100 damage, and it comes with other small advantages such as better reliability and faster bullet speed. While I don't think you should buy the Beretta M9, it's better than its alternatives. C tier. Now let's talk about the last 9x18 weapon, the modified PP19 Bison. The first thing that stands out is the 64 bullet capacity that looks great. However, it's only dealing 27 damage per bullet, which is very low. It does have a good cost per bullet at 21.4, good DPS, and decent reliability, but these simply aren't good enough reasons to buy this gun. Because of its good cost per DPS and decent stats, I'll put it in the C tier, but I wouldn't recommend it over even the compact ICH-27, which you already have. For 4,500 supply credits, you can pick up the newest 12x70 shotgun, the modified Saiga 12. Personally, I absolutely love this gun. It's very similar to the modified ICH-27, except with an actual magazine and much higher DPS due to the 300 rounds per minute as opposed to only 180. While the 8 capacity magazine is only available at security level 3, buying a few 4 capacity magazines and swapping between them makes reloading much easier than the ICH-27 Firearms. While you do lose some reliability and accuracy over the modified ICH-27, as long as you keep the Saiga 12 in good condition at fairly short range, I found it easy to lounge shots consistently. I'm putting this one in S tier. It's extremely powerful for the price, even though it's not the best weapon overall. Next gun up comes in at a similar price of 5,500 supply credits, the modified AKS-74U, the first medium range weapon on the list. The AKS-74U holds up to 45 ammo with the extended mag, has a great DPS of 557 on full auto, has a healthy reliability, and an impressive 732 meter per second bullet velocity. While its recoil is fairly high for a full auto and the rest of its stats are mediocre, it's fairly priced for what you get. B tier. For 8,000 supply credits, you can pick up the SKS, a 310 weight and medium range rifle. Across the board, its stats are mediocre to poor, so there's no reason to pick it up unless you're desperate for a sniper-like weapon. This one gets a D tier. So the SKS wasn't good enough for you. Well, what if it had 35% higher bullet speed and slightly better stats overall? By golly, now you found the perfect firearm, the modified SKS, coming in at an unbelievable price of 16,000 supply credits. Double the price for slightly better stats. F tier. After going through the entire list of guns up to security level 2, it pains me to say the best build is probably the modified SKS paired with the Glock 18C or the Sega 12 if you can manage the extra weight. While neither the modified SKS or Glock 18C are high up on the tier list because of their poor value, the sniper-like qualities of the modified SKS are nice in open areas, and the Glock 18C can mutilate enemies with its incredible 1200 rounds per minute. However, you better be prepared to buy a few extra mags and a truckload of ammo. While the aforementioned build may technically be the best, it's extremely pricey at 20,000 supply credits just for the firearms themselves, not counting the magazines, ammunition, and any attachments you plan to buy. Instead, I'd recommend picking up the modified Sega 12 and carrying around the starter PM for emergencies. While you don't get the medium range from the SKS or perhaps the AKS-74U, you get a deadly one-shot weapon that you don't need attachments or an incredible amount of ammo for. However, if you don't have a problem reloading quickly under pressure, you can stick with the compact ICH-27 and save your money to pick up something much deadlier at security level 3, where the missions start ramping up quickly in difficulty. Security level 3. Starting off security level 3 strong is the G36. For 14,200 supply credits, you get a medium range, 1144 meter per second bullet velocity, and 95 accuracy rifle, though barring the incredible 794 DPS on full auto and low damage per bullet, its stats feel similar to a sniper. The G36 simply has great stats all around, a significant step up from the modified SKS for 16,000 credits. It even comes with a great build and scope with magnification. I'm giving this one an A tier. For 13,000 supply credits, you can get the modified M4A1, which has almost identical stats to the G36. It does have a bit higher DPS, but has a much lower bullet velocity. However, it comes with a rail for attachments, but no scope. Throw in a 3,500 credit holographic scope, which is my personal favorite, but you're supposed to buy the M4A1 front sight and rear sight, which are only 500 credits each. This puts you at basically the same price as the G36 for a very similar gun, A tier as well. Now the Walmart G36, the G36C, coming in at less than half the price of 6,750 credits, you would expect some massive stat decreases to compensate. However, on average, there's only about a 25% cut across the board, so while you do have a bit higher recoil, lower reliability, slightly lower cost for damage, slightly lower DPS, and about a 35% lower bullet speed, the G36C offers great value for the price, another A tier. Next on the list is the AK-74N, a similarly priced rifle at 8,000 credits. However, it comes with an option for a 45 round mag, has a much better 23.1 cost per 100 damage over the G36C's 25.9. It has a much higher bullet velocity and higher accuracy and reliability. The only drawback with the AK-74N is a slightly lower DPS. Overall, this is the best value weapon in the game, S tier. But what about the modified AK-74? Well, for 4,000 more credits, you get slightly higher accuracy, reliability, and bullet velocity, as well as slightly lower recoil and weight. Overall, it's still a good purchase, but it's far too similar to the S tier AK-74N to justify the increase in price, C tier. For the same 8,000 credits as the AK-74N, you can pick up the AKM, another mid-range rifle. While it has a slightly higher DPS and slightly lower cost per damage, it's much worse in nearly every way, including its max magazine capacity of only 30. There's no reason to buy this weapon, D tier. There's also the modified AKM for 12,000 credits with extremely similar stats to the AKM, but 30% faster bullet speed, which is honestly a spit in the face of value. Put into proper perspective, the modified AKM costs 4,000 more credits than the AK-74N, but is slightly worse, F tier. For 16,000 credits, you can pick up the modified VSS Venturas, has the tied highest accuracy in the game at 97, tied second lowest recoil in the game at 35, has an extremely high damage per bullet at 77, an impressive 19.8 cost per 100 damage, and it's extremely quiet. While looking at the numbers initially, I was prepared to give it a D tier due to seemingly mediocre value. However, after playing around with it for a bit, I found it was extremely easy to hit my shots, and it was one-shotting most enemies. And since there's no one to raise an alarm, you usually don't get hunted by the whole pack at once. Keep in mind, silencers cost 2,000 to 3,500 credits, so having one built in with the weapon gives much needed value for the high price tag. While I didn't expect it, I'm giving the modified VSS Venturas an S tier. It's an extremely strong weapon with very little downside besides the price. Personally, if I had this gun in my loadout, it's the only one I'll use. Now for some competition for the VSS Venturas, we have the modified AS Val coming in at the same 16,000 credits. While the AS Val does have some upside with over 4 times higher DPS on full auto and a bit higher reliability, the VSS Venturas has doubled the bullet velocity, much better cost per damage, much higher accuracy, and much lower recoil. There are simply not enough reasons to buy the AS Val over the VSS Venturas. B tier. The next gun on the list, the modified OTS-14 Groza, has the highest DPS in the game at 867 on full auto, which is extremely impressive for the low price tag of only 7,000 credits. However, with great power comes great drawbacks, and for the Groza, it means the lowest bullet velocity in the game at only 290 meters per second. Paired with a mediocre 91 accuracy and a very high 700 rounds per minute, the Groza takes the win for the expensive but noob-friendly spray and pray strategy. While the rest of the stats are surprisingly good for the price, I'm only giving this one an A tier. It works well for short-range combat, but nothing more. Alright, now for the first sniper on the list, the 12,000 credit SVD with high range. As you might expect, it has extremely high damage per bullet at 117, so you'll be one-shotting basically everything. It also has great value per 100 damage at only 15.1 credits, rivaled only by the modified SVD. However, there are too many downsides for the price: a magazine capacity of only 10, the second lowest reliability in the game, the second highest recoil in the game, and mediocre accuracy and bullet speed for being a sniper. I would not recommend this gun. Save your credits and buy the modified VSS Venturas. However, I won't be too tough on the SVD because it's fine at what it does. B tier. Now, the most expensive firearm on the list, the modified SVD, priced at a jaw-dropping 18,000 credits. As you might expect, the modified SVD is very similar to the 50% cheaper SVD. However, the modified SVD is too similar. On average, the stats are about 20% better across the board, but the magazine capacity is sadly the same. The 130 damage per bullet is overkill at this point in the game's development. It's easily the loudest gun in the game, attracting many enemies every time you shoot, and it comes without a scope, which even the SVD has. So you'll need to buy a few thousand credit scope and a 3,500 credit silencer on top of the already 18,000 credit gun, which is far too expensive. Even though the modified SVD is technically the best at what it does, it's an F tier unless you're loaded. After going through all the guns in Into the Radius 2 0.13 and testing them all individually, I would say the deadliest combo has to be the modified SVD with a silencer and scope for long range targets, paired with the modified VSS Venturas for medium range targets, and the modified OTS-14 Groza on full auto for anything up close. If you need a lighter build, remove the VSS Venturas or modified SVD based on preference or depending on how open the map is in the area you're going. However, keep in mind this build is extremely expensive, heavy, and uses 3 different types of ammo. Instead, I'd personally recommend running the modified VSS Venturas with the free Fort 17 you receive on reaching security level 3. This way you can get value out of any remaining 9x18 ammo while keeping things light and deadly. Keep in mind the modified Fort 17 you receive at security level 3 is listed as a special Fort 17, but there's nothing special about it. All the stats are just as bad. Also, the modified VSS Venturas is technically classified as a low range weapon, but in testing I had no trouble getting accurate shots from medium to long range due to its high accuracy and bullet speed. My recommendations for weapons thus far have been about getting maximum value from free and cheap weapons, but if for whatever reason you don't have many credits, the AK-74N or even the G36C is a good alternative for half the price. That is all for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more videos like this in the future, appreciate you all. See you in the next one.